Hey there, honey bunnies. Welcome to episode 98 of the Sovereign Storytellers podcast with your host, Michelle Wolf. This episode is Stop Quoting Mary Oliver and Start Taking Action, or something like that. Mary Oliver's poem. Mary Oliver is an amazing poet. One of my favorites. An inspiration to me at multiple points in my life. Incredible. Like, if you haven't run across this poem, then this podcast episode may not make a whole lot of sense to you. But I'm not sure how you could be in the online self-development coaching business entrepreneurship world and not have run across the line. Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? That is the last sentence in the poem The Summer Day by Mary Oliver, published in 1992. Here's the whole thing. Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean, the one who has flung herself out of the grass, the one who is eating sugar out of my hand, who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down, who is gazing around her with enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings apart and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I have been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? That last sentence is such an inspiration that it's been memed to death. It gets quoted all the time to the point that it's become a cliche, which I love and don't love. I mean, cliches are cliches because they're true. And also you're like, damn, there's that Mary Oliver meme again. The woman's got like 5 billion poems, and this is the one sentence out of one poem that we gotta meme to death. You know what I mean? Like, I'm joking and also not. So the reason I bring that up is because it's easy to quote that line, right? It's so easy to say, what am I going to do with my one wild and precious life? Oh, I think I'll do this and do that, and oh, I think I'll watch Hamilton again. I've been stuck on that. I love American history, and I love the song in there, I'm Not Throwing Away My Shot. It's probably not the title. But so much of my life has been spent. Are you going to regret doing or not doing this when you're 80, Michelle? I don't know when I started asking that question, but it was a long time ago. It may be part of being a Scorpio that you're always aware of death and transformation and rebirth, and the fact that our time on the planet is so short. Even if I'm lucky enough to live past 100, what is that? 100? That's a blink of an eye. That's a blip, a nanosecond, a picosecond. 100-something years? It's nothing. I spent a lot of time with Buddhism in my teens and 20s and 30s and up to 40-something. So, part of Buddhism is looking at death, and there's a practice of imagining your death every day so that you don't forget. And some people go, oh, that's morbid. What kind of creepo imagines dying every single day, imagines themselves dead and gone? Well, yeah, I mean, you can look at it that way. And especially in our culture, that's like, shh, don't say the D word. The D word is worse than the S word. S-E-X. Don't say the D word. Death, death, death. We're all going to die. Okay. It's going to happen. And I don't like the thought of it. I don't want to. And also, I do still frequently do that practice of, what am I going to do with this life? What did I do today? At the end of the day, I always ask myself this. Did I do one thing, even one thing, to change my life for the better, or to change someone else's life for the better, or to put something out in the world, out of my mouth, into writing, somewhere, something that might have an impact on someone? Did I do that today? Most days I can say yes. Most days, even if I don't post it out publicly, I've written something or thought something or, made a note about something that has to do with this wake people up mission that I always come back to. The thing in Buddhism is that from the moment you're born into a human body, that is like the premium experience that you can have. Like, that is the primo deluxe first class seat, even better, private airplane flight to Paris. Like, it's the best you can get. Like, to be born a human is profoundly lucky and valuable and should be treated as such. It's hard to do that though, right? Being human is this weirdo dance, right? We talk about the razor's edge a lot, this holding the both and, which is such a, to me, the both and concept that I've talked about several episodes lately and even before, that is like a pounding giant drum in my head on a daily basis. We're moving to the both and. We're moving to this space where we hold it all. We're moving to all inclusivity. We're not there yet. You're not even close, but that's where we're headed. And that concept of life, we're always balancing that edge, our spiritual awareness that knows all the things, and our little human pea brain experience that's like, what am I going to have for dinner? I don't want to eat whatever I have. I wish, the food delivery place, what's the one, DoorDash, would drive out in the country and bring me a pizza or something, which they won't. But you know what I mean? Like, it's that trivial, what the hell am I going to eat for dinner, all the way to, oh my gosh, mankind and humanity is teetering on this pivotal edge, and which way is it going to go? And oh my God, what a strange life we live. And then we've got kids and partners and politics and car repair and flat tires and hunger and the drive for sex and disease and all, cats and dogs and anarchy and chaos. It's hard to remember. Right? This is why we have memes. Tell me what you will do with your damn life. What are you going to do with your damn life? Right? That's why we have to regurgitate those things over and over again, because we forget. With all the stuff that's calling our attention, all the basic survival needs. So, what I keep coming back to is this historical moment. Democracies are like human life. They are precious and rare And they typically, historically, don't last very long because they're hard to maintain. They require a lot of work. They require a lot of consciousness. They require growth that never ends, a constant reevaluation of what have we done, what are we doing, where are we going, how do we maintain what we've got and increase? How do we have what we have and do better? How do we go where we know we can go, but it's hard to maintain the strength and the courage and the momentum to get there? How do we do that? That's why democracies fail. Exhaustion. Apathy, exhaustion. That's what happens to us. We slip in when we don't have that daily, hey Michelle, hey whatever your name is listening, what did you do today to contribute? What did you let come through your body that's bigger than you, larger than your concerns about the sheets on crooked and now I got to get out of bed and fix the whole damn thing because I can't handle it, you know? What did you do? So establishing a practice of review daily. You don't have to imagine your death if that weirds you out. I'm going to keep doing it because it keeps me motivated. But whatever your practice is, you need some kind of daily thing that's like, what are you doing? What are you up to? How is what you're doing or not doing contributing to this goal you set for 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years? Now we know, especially this year, right? Set a goal, you're asking for trouble. Set a goal, make a plan, and the gods laugh, right? They just chuckle and guffaw. It's a knee slapper moment when one of us lately is like, hey, I think I'll book a trip to... Nope, not gonna happen. So, we still have to set goals. We still have to have intentions. And we still have to take the actions that will get us there. We can't just quote a poet. We can't just forward a meme. Whether it's a meme about Black Lives Matter or it's a meme about what are you going to do with your one and precious life? Wild and precious life. What are you going to do with it? You've been handed this miracle. You've been handed the height of a soul's experience on this planet Earth. And what are you doing with it? I've been spent plenty of nights eating donuts or ice cream, which was my thing, or Doritos and dusting crumbs off my chest. Okay. It doesn't mean that what you're doing, what you haven't been doing, what you've done so far is worthless. There are times for Doritos and donuts. There is time for binge watching Netflix. There are times that you just sleep and sleep and sleep. And there are other times, and we need the balance of, we need the both. We need the Doritos and the discovery and the deliverance and the deliberate creation, the thoughtful, conscious, deliberate action taking that delivered to the world what we came here to do. We need all of it. We can't just quote that line and not have an honest conversation with ourselves and ask ourselves, I've been given this one wild and precious life. Now, what did I do today? In the morning, I've been given this one wild and precious life. What the fuck am I going to do today? What am I going to do today? Do, not think about, not contemplate, not dream about, not slap another picture on my vision board. What action will I take to say thank you to the universe for giving me this one wild and precious life, this miracle? So lucky. We're so lucky. Even with everything happening, here's why we're lucky. We see it, and we see it more every day. And those of us who are like, please show me where I'm a racist. Please wake me up to where I am taking things for granted. Please show me the things that I need to awaken to so that I can be different, do different, so I can tailor my actions to be more effective, not just for me, but for everyone. How do I contribute to this energy of moving toward a duality to a oneness? What can I do? What can I say? Sometimes your doing is changing your thoughts. Sometimes what you do for the world is to stop letting yourself have pity parties. Now, several episodes back, last year even, I talked a lot about closing pity party land. I shut the doors. I had this image in my head of an abandoned carnival, and I shut and locked the gates. And every time I tried to go to my familiar bad feeling place, which was pity party land, I was like, remember the gates are closed. Look at it in your head. It's boarded up. Big metal gates and big locks with chains are around, and the lights are out, and you ain't going. You don't go to pity party land anymore. It's permanently closed. That might be what you do with your one wild and precious life for the day. But think about that. Like, that's not insignificant. If you break the pattern, which is most likely multi-generational and reinforced by our culture that says you have to buy a lot of things to have value, which means you have to make a lot of money to have value. You know, the downside of marketing. It's not insignificant that you wake up from that and say, you know what, do I really need to buy that? Does buying that really bring me joy? Or am I hooked on a dopamine surge that I get when I spend some of my sweet moolah? Is there a part of me that still thinks if I have that particular car, I'll be okay? Which is what drives most of our purchases, right? We're fed a platter of insecurity and then told the cure to your insecurity and indigestion is to go buy some more fucking products. But it doesn't work, right? It's a lie. It's not true. And if you spend your energy hating the marketer, it's a waste of your day. It's a waste of your life. What you can do is spend your energy saying, wake up, wake up, wake up. What are you doing with your life? What are you buying into? There's a whole buffet of information. Which bits of that information are you putting on your plate today? And is that what you really want? And if today was your last day, are you happy with how it's gone? And if you're not, you don't go to pity party land, right? Well, become happy. I wasted my whole day. All I did was go to the grocery store and organize the pantry. How's that contribute? You know, you can't do that. Because that's pity party land. That is a dead-end waste of time. But what you can say is, oh, look at me reviewing the day. Looking at how I spent my day and asking myself, is today how I want to spend tomorrow? Maybe. It depends on where you're at, right? This isn't me telling you you're doing it wrong, although you may be hearing it that way through your filters. I'm not telling you you're doing it wrong. I'm telling you wake up to what you're doing so that you know consciously, and you are choosing consciously, and you're empowered to be a grown-up and choose what you do with your day, whether that is to do nothing but go to the grocery store and organize the pantry for today. Fine. I care less about what you do. I care more about how much you lie to yourself. me included. Right? Mea culpa. I lie to myself. And I have systems in place to continually remind myself to check in. Are you sleeping? Did you sleep through the day? Michelle, what did you do today? What are you going to do tomorrow? Are you asking the question, Lord, make of me an instrument of thy peace? Did you forget to ask that lately? Because that's another one I ask. Lord, make of me an instrument of thy peace. Use me. Use my life. Show me what I can do. Show me how I can contribute. Make the words come flying out of my mouth or through my fingers in the right time at the right place so the right people will see them, and hopefully it will wake them up or impact them positively in some way. But that's me. My life focus is to be of service, to be a more and more and more open conduit, a bridge between the invisible and the visible, a mouthpiece, an oracle. Like, send the words through me. I'm happy to deliver them. I'm not impacted by the impact or lack of impact anymore. So send some more words on through. Fine, I'm willing to do that. I can do that. That's something I can do with this body while it can still speak and write and communicate. That's me. That's my stuff. What are you doing? Have you even thought about it? What a miracle it is to be here in this time and place when our country is going through such similar upheavals that it went through in the mid to late 1700s, and then the late 1700s, and then the 1800s. We keep going through it, but this is almost a carbon copy of what we went through before at the formation of this country, for good and bad. Yes, there's lots of bad. Fuck God. Yes. Change is slow, and in the scheme of the world, our country is a little bitty baby. It's just a little tiny toddler. 200 and something years. That's nothing compared to the rest of the world. We're new. We're still young. We're progressing from baby and toddler to maybe preschooler and maybe middle schooler. We've done some stuff, good and bad, and now we need to do more stuff, preferably more good than bad. But even that depends on who you're talking to. My definition of good and bad is not the same as everyone else's. Democracies frequently fail. It's hard to do what we're doing. We forget that. Democracies are not status quo thinking historically, right? It's hard to form them. It's hard to maintain them. It's hard to keep them evolving so they don't stagnate and issues keep getting swept under the rug until we end up with someone like number 45 in office. And the mess and all the stuff that's been exposed, which is good. We need to wake up, right? The more we wake up, we go through a lot of pain. It's painful. We forget we're here to do something, and we are a miracle that we're alive to see this time. It's a miracle to be alive anytime. It's a miracle to be alive and have had some education, to have access to the technology that lets you listen to me ranting and raving about shit. Why are you listening? Right? What a miracle. What a miracle. God, we're surrounded by miraculous, awe-inspiring things. The original definition of awesome, to be in awe of, to be gobsmacked, dumbstruck by the miracles that I can stand in my bathroom and record some stuff that you will listen to and hopefully think about and contemplate. And not agree or disagree, but to think about. What am I doing with my one and precious wildlife or whatever? What did I do today? Am I happy with what I did today? Sometimes if you're in the depths of depression or you're going through something, if you got out of bed and made it from the bed to the couch, that might be all you could do today. I've been there. If you took a shower and you haven't had a shower in 2 weeks, then by God, your shower is all you could do today. That's a miracle. That's progress. That means you're still alive, and as long as you're sucking air, there's hope. When I was working with teenagers who were coming from multi-generational gang families, they could not conceive of a life that didn't involve selling drugs or laundering money. This is no joke. This is not a movie script. These are actual kids in Colorado that were coming out of families whose primary occupation was drug sales, laundering money, and gang-related lifestyle. And they were like, you want me to do what? You want me to go work at fucking McDonald's for whatever it was at the time, $5.50, I think it was. Maybe it was $6.25. I don't remember. It's still garbage. $7.25. Come on now. You have to work like 15 jobs just to get by. Don't get me started on that one. But these kids were like, why would I go work at McDonald's for $5.50 an hour when I can work a weekend and make $5,000? Are you kidding me? You're insane, lady. So some of them didn't, right? Some of them aged out of the system and went right back to doing what they did. But there was this other kid. There were several like these, but this kid, I have permission to tell his story. Josh Valenciano from Greeley, Colorado. He's a youth minister now. Or he was. Married with some kids, last I heard. I got to interview him for my my thesis. I did an ethnographic study for my final project for grad school. He let me interview him, gave me permission to tell his story. So here's Josh's story, and this is related to what I'm talking about, the miracles. And don't think just because you grew up in suburbia and went through your standard trauma of life that you aren't also a miracle. But let me tell you about Josh. So Josh was multi-generational gang. Got jumped into the gang when he was 8 years old, 9 years old, something like that. Details don't matter. So what do gang kids do? They go to school, they come home, they do gang shit. They learn how to sell drugs. They learn how to beat people up. They learn how to hold grudges and fight with the rival gangs. They learn business. They learn some incredibly sharp entrepreneurial strategies. How do you get somebody to buy drugs that's never bought drugs before? You learn how to market. You learn how to be excellent with math. Slinging dope will teach you how to do math in your head faster than you can imagine. You could break down money. You understand math. You understand commerce. You understand being a self-starter. You understand being having a boss and being a boss, right? You learn a lot. being a gang kid. But then, one day, something goes wrong, and you and some of your gang people get beat up. That requires revenge. During the act of revenge, you stab someone till they almost die, and you're just a kid. You're 14 years old. It's the only life you've ever known. Your mom begged you every single day to stay away from it, and you learned to lie so exquisitely she didn't know what you were doing. And then you stab someone multiple times because you think that's what you're supposed to do. Then you get charged because you're a kid. You go into the Division of Youth Corrections in the state of Colorado. You get sent to DYC youth shit. Okay. Bitter, mad, not mad about what you did, mad that you got caught, mad that now you're locked up for doing what you knew was the right thing to do, what you had to do. Like you didn't have a choice. You had to go after them. You had to take a knife. You had to stab that person. You had to. So how angry are you that now you're locked up? So our man Josh is sitting around in the summer camp thing. I forget the name of it. But they have a Bible study every night. They get together outside. This preacher guy comes. They have their Bibles. They do a Bible study. A little sermon and a Bible study every night. But Josh stays in his area. He doesn't believe that crap. He wants nothing to do with that God shit. What does the Bible have to offer him? Nothing. What is religion but just another establishment that has no connection for him whatsoever? It's just some other place that's going to tell him how wrong he is. It's just some other system that's going to tell him, do this or else. He doesn't want anything to do with that. By this time, he's his own man. He's just marking time till he gets out to go back and finish what he started. This is not an advocacy for religion, but this is what happens. One night, for whatever reason, his friend is always like, hey man, come with me to the thing. He's like, fuck that. One night he was like, all right, fuck it, I'll go with you. Grabs his little Bible and goes. Then he sits down and the preacher starts talking. And he was walking around and the preacher guy locks eyes with Josh. And he said he started to shake. He broke out in a sweat. He got scared. His stomach got sick to his stomach. He was covered in goosebumps. He was like frozen in place, but emotional equivalent of being struck by lightning. He said he didn't even really hear the words. He didn't really hear what was being said. But he said to him it felt like God had come down to earth and was speaking to him directly through this man. And he was like, it wasn't that man, it was God. It was that voice saying, you've got to do something different. You have to hear me. You have to change your life. And it shook him up and started him on a journey that, what a miracle. This kid came out of that, started studying. This was not like an overnight deal. He was freaked out. He was just a kid. Then he had to go through, oh my God, what have I done? Look at what my life has been. That started at like 8 or 9 years old. Then he had to get jumped out. He had to go home and say, risking his life to say, I'm not going to play this game anymore. I'm not going to live this life anymore. Then he had to go through having the shit beat out of him. and never knowing for sure if somebody wasn't going to come back, and even though they said he was out, take him out. He was very high ranking. These systems have rankings like the military. He was right up there at the top, even as a youngster. But he heard that voice and he stopped and he never went back. Not that he didn't have doubts. Not that he wasn't like, I'm losing my goddamn mind. All the shit I've done has snapped my brain into, I'm crazy. He thought he was losing his mind. He didn't know what was happening to him. But he listened. And he kept asking questions. And he didn't go back to sleep, which he could have. He could have. He could have said, no, I can't say no to them. They're going to kill me. They might hurt my family. I have to go back and just keep doing what I was doing. But he was like, I can't do it. So every day he had a daily practice of spirituality. This isn't like he was suddenly a saint. He wasn't. He got in trouble. He still had shit going on between other kids in the house that were from rival gangs. He was still a young'un. He still had a lot of growing to do. But a light shone through him. You could have picked him out of a crowd because there was something, an energy around him, a something that you couldn't quite put your finger on, but you could feel it when you're next to him. I think about him a lot because to me, he's a great example of the struggle between being in a human body with our human histories, with our human tendencies and our little pea brain that tries so damn hard, and this light that shines through us. Sometimes we're aware of it and sometimes we're not. That light that is active in us that makes this our wild and precious life, that makes us wild animals and precious spirit in flesh. Whether you call it God or whatever you call it. The thing that animates trees, that animates our heart. The thing that when you see someone who's died makes them look like an empty paper bag. Like whatever was them is gone and you can feel it. It's gone. They were there. Now they're not there. That indefinable light. That's what makes you a miracle. Your life might not be as dramatic as Josh, but I'll bet you've had awakening moments where something spoke to you, where you were like, holy cow, maybe somebody died, maybe you got sick, maybe you lost a job or a child or a marriage. Something happened that made you hit the brakes and go, what the fuck? What is happening here? What am I doing? How did I get off track? What is the track I'm supposed to be on? I don't even know what I'm supposed to do. But I know it's not this. The thing is those moments come and they don't stay. Don't worry if you missed it. It'll come back. They do keep coming back, but they don't last. That's where the work comes in. That's where you have to take responsibility for the daily practice that helps you remember that, oh my God, I'm alive. I've been alive for this many years. I don't know how much more I'll have. What am I going to do with what I've got left? What a miracle. Where can I get involved? Where can I clean up my own thoughts so that when I get involved, I'm a more effective involvee, a more effective participant in whatever I choose to get involved in. Should I be writing? Should I be speaking? Shouldn't I get my course out there? Shouldn't I get my business going? If it's a heart-led business, isn't it on my heart because somebody out there needs it? Yes. Yes, it's on your heart because somebody out here needs it. They need you and the way the light shines through you. Light shines through Josh Valenciano in one way. Light shines through me in a different way. Light shines through you in a different way. I was describing this to someone in a session the other day, that the light is always a different context, but it still works. Go to the theater and there's a big spotlight. And I don't know if this is still done by hand or not. I mean, I haven't been to the theater in like a zillion years. But to change the colors on stage, they put a film in front of the light. Red film, shine the light red. Blue, shine the light blue. The light is still the light. It's just white light. But the film that you put over it changes the color, right? So if we think of that light as the animating principle of life, the animating presence, the thing that has you, me talking and you hearing, and us engaging in the time-space continuum where you can hear this 10 years from now and it will still be equally valid because time and space in some regard doesn't exist. But you're that light shining through this body that changes the color of the light. You are the film placed over the light. So you shine. The light shines through your skin and bones and muscles and eyeballs and all the things with a particular quality that's unique to you. So you are that shining light, and you are that film that changes the color. You are the both and. You are a fucking miracle. And whatever you have to do to remember on a daily basis that we aren't promised tomorrow. And if that's really hard for you to consider, you might want to get some help on that, as it's true. And if you can get at least semi-comfortable with it, it will keep you from drifting. You know, it's our human tendency to drift. So none of this is a blame. None of this is criticism. It's a call to action. It's a call to awaken and put the systems in place that keep you coming back to the question, what am I going to do with my life? You will forget. You'll see the meme and go, oh yeah, that fucking Mary Oliver. Damn, I love that line. I'm going to get that line. I'm going to tattoo it on my arm. So every time I put a shirt on, I'm going to remember to ask that question. That's a little extreme. And to be honest, text doesn't age well with tattoos, just so you know. Right? How are you going to remember that moment that you're like, oh yeah, oh God, yes. There's more than this organizing the pantry. There's organizing the pantry and organizing my thoughts and taking the action that will bring the program that's on my heart into the world where it can serve maybe the one person who's just waiting for you to get your shit together and put the thing out. Way back in my child protection days, child abuse investigation, I remember going to my advisor in college and saying, you can put me anywhere but not child protection, because I didn't know any better at the time. So, of course, that's where I ended up. And I stayed there far too long. But the thing that I used to tell myself, there are very few wins when you're a social worker. Everybody hates you. Everybody hates you. The kids hate you. Parents hate you. I got death threats. I got death threats to the extreme that the person was criminally charged with them. I've been followed. I've had to have police escort. It's an ugly, ugly, ugly world, and you're just trying to do your best by these kids and these families. It's a very imperfect system. But what I used to tell myself to keep going was, if I can help one kid, if I can help one mom get her shit together and get her kid back. If I can help one family get through the system and go on with their lives, if I can help one kid get into foster care and get adopted if the parents can't, all the things. One kid, one, then it's worth it. The 60 to 80 hours a week I'm working is worth it if one family's life has changed. That's the only way I was able to keep going. But think about it. Think about all the people you've had an impact on. You may not even know that you had an impact on them. You crossed their path at just the right time. Said a little something that changed them. You won't even know about it. So let's assume, if you're over the age of 30, that at least one person has been changed because of the miracle of your existence on this planet right now, at this time. So, and then think about the people that you've had an impact on. They've told you, maybe they've come back and said, hey, that you said this perfect thing and it really brightened my day, or it really made me think, and I'm getting myself together and I'm going to leave this marriage, or I'm going to marry this person because I've been dicking around. I'm going to do the thing because you uplifted me, because you said something. Think about that. Doesn't that make your life worth it? Even if it's just one person? So if you develop a program and you put it out there and only one person signs up, our tendency is to be a big fucking baby about it. That was my favorite entry ticket into Pity Party Land. Nobody bought my course. Give me a ticket. I'm going to go hang out. I'm going to go ride the rides at Pity Party Land and cry in my popcorn and piss and moan and do all the things that don't further me down the road, but instead take me backwards. That's what I'm going to do with my one wild and precious life. I'm going to go fucking ball in my buttered popcorn. Okay, I'm making a joke out of it. I'm not beating myself up for that. It's all I knew how to do. How could I do anything different? How can you do anything different? When we know better, we do better. Another cliche, because it works. Thank you, Mama Maya. But you know better. You can do better. So you put a course out there and only one person buys it. Did they benefit from it? Can't that be enough? You put a post out there and only 5 people liked it. Well, if we know on Facebook, if somebody takes the time to scoot their little thumb over and click a button, at least they saw you. Isn't that enough? Can't that be enough while you're building toward more? Can we stop quoting Mary Oliver and start living? Did she drop wisdom bombs constantly? Yes. We're surrounded by help. We're surrounded by poets and artists. Even though we've tried to kill the arts and we've raised kids who never got art class, which is fucking insane, we're surrounded by things that inspire us, by things that are like little breadcrumb trails to ask to get you to remember to wake up, to once a day ask yourself, did I do something today? Was I the person I wanted to be today? A lot of time the answer to that's going to be no. Fuck, I missed the mark. I don't mind saying sin. I don't mind saying I sinned or I'm a sinner, because in my mind and things I've learned, the traditional or the true definition of sin is just missing the mark. You missed the mark. I started out in the morning with things I wanted to do and I didn't do them. I take responsibility for not doing them. I don't make up a bunch of excuses about why I didn't do them. I just didn't. That's the bottom line. It's 12:36 in the middle of the night and I didn't do the thing, okay? So whatever it is, you just acknowledge it. You just be an adult and say, bottom line, I didn't do the thing. Doesn't matter why. It didn't get done. That's the truth. So, I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to get to bed, say a little prayer before I go to bed. Lord, make of me an instrument of thy peace. Or whatever, your little, now I lay me down to sleep, whatever, 4 angels at the corner, whatever your little bedtime prayer is. If you don't have one, you should probably start one. And in the morning, I'm going to start again. And in the morning, I'm going to start again. And in the next morning, I'm going to start again. I'm going to take a teeny weeny tiny action. I posted this on Facebook tonight. Take one little teeny tiny bitty baby step. Congratulate the fuck out of yourself, slap a gold star on your ass, and get up and do it again. You can teeny tiny bitty baby step yourself to all the way to success. You can. You absolutely can. But you have to close the doors to some shit that's keeping you stuck. You can't do a sugar spell your way out of it. You can't vision board your way out of it. You can't energy work your way out of it. Those things help you. They make the path easier. But ultimately, you still got to do the work. You still have to take the action that says thank you for this one life that you get. For now, who knows what happens after? Maybe you get 1 billion lives, but does that mean you should waste this one? Absolutely not. Everyone is exquisitely precious. It is wild and precious. That's why we love that line so much. It's true, and we hear the truth in that poem rattles us to the bones because it's energetically infused with a wake-up call. Hey, wake the fuck up. What are you doing? You're wandering. Letting a grasshopper eat sugar off your hand might be the most brilliant thing you can do today, because then you're going to go write a poem that's going to inspire people forever, even after your death. We don't know. We have to trust, right? So that's what I'm saying. Don't judge yourself if all you did today was move from the bedroom to the couch. If all you did today was rage tweet. If all you did today was put food in your mouth and live to fight another day, that's enough. And also, and, the both and. I didn't do shit today. And I'm not in bed yet. Could I send somebody a note? Could I jot a note down about an idea I've had that I keep thinking I can't do? Could I commit it to paper and just see what happens? I don't have to do anything else but write it down before I go to bed. Can I do that? Can I take a few moments and forgive myself for whatever I'm judging myself for instead of spending more time judging myself for it? Okay, let me make a list of all the shit-headed things I did today, and now let me practice forgiveness and grace for myself. Isn't that enough? Can that be enough? I think so. And think about where you want to go. Get up tomorrow, do it again. Put something in your life that reminds you to keep asking that question. What could I choose to create now? What does God, Spirit, all that is, want to do with me now? What does me and all the me's and all the times and all the dimensions, what do we want to do with this physical body that we're inhabiting right now? We've got a car we can drive. Where do you want to drive it to? What kind of fuel do you want to put in it? What kind of sounds do you want this body car of yours to produce? Think of the miracle. Start from the miracle. Look at the pain. Open your eyes. Ask to have your eyes opened. And then consciously choose from there. Of course, you know I'm going to say, follow your type, strategy, and authority. And spend 15 minutes in silence a day. Pray and then listen. Ask a question and then listen. Recognize that your body is a conduit for profound, miraculous things, which might just mean saying hi to the cashier at the grocery store who might be feeling invisible that day, and your hello might be what gets her through the rest of her shift. You don't fucking know. But ask the question. Ask to be put where you can be of service, if that's your thing. Okay? Like, I can't caveat everything or we'll be here all night. I think you know what I'm saying. I think you get it. So let's read this one more time and wrap up. The Summer Day by Mary Oliver. Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean. The one who has flung herself out of the grass, the one who is eating sugar out of my hand, who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down, who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I have been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Think less, feel more. I'll talk to you next time.